All right, I have 0200 on the Eve clock. Welcome to the Principles of Mining, Mining 101. I'm Max Darkfire. I'll be the teacher for this course. I will be looking at the lecture.E-UNI chat box if you have any questions during the course. So a few first things to start off. This course will probably take about an hour or so. The first 30 minutes will be a quick lecture, and the last 30 minutes will probably be a Q&A. So if there's anything that I don't cover or anything you have more questions on, feel free to ask at the end if you remember them, or if you bring them up, I'll try to cover them during the class. Please set your mumble settings to push to talk if you've not already done so. If you start keying up, I may have to mute you. While doing this course, I highly suggest you're docked up in station, especially if you're in the uni with UMAD. There is not going to be a practical for this course, simply because I didn't ship my Orca out to Aldrat. Alright, with that, what is mining? If you go into any planetary system and you right click into space, you'll notice there's many asteroid belts. Asteroid belts are filled with asteroids. You can use a mining laser to basically pick up the asteroids and put them into your hold. I have a peanut gallery behind me, I'm sorry. You can also mine ice crystals from ice belts and gas from gas clouds in wormholes. Another type of mining is moon mining. I'm not going to be getting into that during this course. It's its own thing. You basically use a POS and pull off moon goo, which can be used for creating items at the higher level. You can use any ship in EVE to mine as long as it has a high slot for a mining laser or a drone bay. Basically, you lock onto the asteroid, similar to locking onto any ship, and you set your modules to on. It's pretty passive. You don't have to do anything beyond that. Your lasers will generally cycle automatically until the roid is dead or your hold is full. Most of us I'm in the AMC, as are several people in this channel, and a lot of us use it to make ISK pretty easily. You don't really have to do much, as long as you're paying attention to local. And it's really a great way to just talk to people in fleet and mumble. Basic intro to the ores and mining, what you can do. High sec and low sec, there are about 16 different ores that can be found on the asteroid belts. Veld, Scordite, Pyroxes, Plagios, Amber, Kernite, Jaspit, Hermaphrodite, Hedbergite, Nis, Dark Ochre, Crocite, Spodumane, Bistot, Arcanor, and Mercoxite. All these can be refined into minerals that can be used to make all your modules, your ships, everything that's in the game, basically. I'm going to be linking in lecture.E-UNI what the different refining amounts go. Currently, the CCP is planning on changing how refining works in the summer patch, and I will probably be updating the slides when that happens. So I linked the EVE University wiki page on refining ore. Veld, Scordite, Pyroxes, Plagios all require 3-3 batch size to refine. And as you can see from the chart straight on that page, depending on the rest of them, it's a different batch size. Refining itself is its own industry. And that's a separate course, but I will take any questions you have about that or the changes at the end of the class in the Q&A. Each of the different ores that I mentioned earlier does come in 3 different grades. You may notice as you're mining that you'll see Veldspar, condensed Veldspar, and dense Veldspar. There's three different ore qualities. The Veldspar is simple. The normal one, whatever you refine, you get the normal amount. Condensed Veldspar gives you about 5% more of the, what are they called? Minerals when you refine them. And the dense Veldspar gives you about 10% more. I'm going to be linking in lecture.E-UNI, again, a little grid that will show you where the different ores are found in New Eden. You've probably seen this before. It's called the Glowroid grid. There we go. So as you can see, if you click on that, Amar, Caldari, Galente, and Minmatar space all have different ores in them. Every type of space will have your Veld and Scordite in them. Caldari and Amar will have pyroxes, where Galente and Minmatar will have plagios. Depending on the sex status, you'll have rarer and rarer ores. You may notice on there that Mercoxid is not there. That is generally only found in nullsec, and is the only way to get, I believe it's, do any of you guys remember what the name of that refines into?
What was it?
Mercoxid?
Morphite.
Morphite, yeah. That's the only way to get Morphite. So, as I mentioned earlier, you can generally find asteroids in the belts and the systems, but sometimes cosmic anomalies will pop. That can be anything from some of the higher grade ores to ores from different systems. Sometimes a bunch of low-sec ores will pop up in 0.8 systems. I've seen that recently. In addition to low and nullsec, there are some ores in wormhole space, but it's much more dangerous because of the sleeper rats, as well as the fact that local will not have anyone on it. But how do you actually mine? What do you need in-game? So obviously, in Skill Queue Online, you always have to be leveling up some skills. The basic mining skill is, you can probably guess it, mining. Every rank you have in mining will give you a 5% bonus shield. Generally, if you're going to be a serious miner, you want to get that to 5 as soon as possible. But you can mine with it at rank 1 pretty easily. You won't have the best throughput, but you'll be mining. Another one is Astrogeology. Again, this gives you another 5% yield per level. And it's just all around pretty good to have if you're going to be mining for a while. You do need Astrogeology 2-3 in order to use the mining barges. And you need it to 5 to be able to eventually do exhumers. Mining barges and exhumers are basically the upgrade from the frigates for mining. And I'll be going into those very briefly in a little minute. Next one, mining upgrades. These allow you to put in mining laser optimization, like mining laser upgrade 1s and all the advanced ones. It basically helps you mine faster and better. So a while back, in order to mine, most people were running around in destroyers equipped with mining lasers. I don't remember what patch it was, but CCP introduced the Venture and the other ore ships. The Venture is the basic one. If you run through the CCP tutorial missions in Introspace, I believe you get 1 or 2 of them just for doing the quests. Pretty easy to find. I think under 400,000 if you just buy them off the market. In order to fly those, you actually need mining frigate. If you're going to be flying the Venture, the wormholes, If you're going to be just flying it around and not going into exhumers or barges, you probably want to get that to 5, because getting it to 5 does increase your yield a little bit. What about quests, Alduin?
There's quests in this game?
Alright, missions. My old gaming habits. Other things you can actually use in mine, you can use your drones. There are mining drones which use mining operations. They are not that efficient. In fact, they're pretty inefficient unless you're pretty close to the asteroid themselves. But you can use them for a little bit of an increase. Those just use the drone skills, mining drone operations, and if you want to increase your control range, scout drone operations. As I mentioned earlier, the Venture is the basically intro to mining frigate for the CCP or frigates. The upgrade, which most serious miners get to as soon as they can, is the mining barges. There's the Procurer, the Retriever, and the Coveter. All three have different aspects to them. The Procurer is the tankier one. The Retriever currently has the biggest ore hold, and the Coveter has a slightly better yield over the long haul. They do have bonuses and negatives, but those are generally talked about more in the Mining 102 lecture. Once you get your mining barge skills up pretty high, you'll upgrade to exhumers. There's a Skiff, Mackinaw, and Hulk. Thank you, Aki. The Skiff is really, really tanky, and with the changes upcoming, it's going to be even tankier. If you want to do wormholes with exhumers, a Skiff is probably the way to go. A Mackinaw, if you're going to be solo mining and you're a pretty safe system, has the biggest ore hold. And the Hulk has the best yield of all the mining ships that I just mentioned. The downside to the Hulk, however, is that the ore bay is pretty small. If you're brand new to mining, you can get into mining pretty easily. I'm linking a fit call that I'm going to call the newbie miner. You basically need just skills to 1. You can go out into a belt, just start mining, earning ISK pretty easily. It's not going to be that efficient, but you'll be doing something. If you want to get a little bit riskier and get into a wormhole, there's a basic wormhole fit. It'll allow you to harvest gas clouds if you can find them, and gives you a little bit of a tank in order to withstand a small amount of gank. If you go into wormholes and you haven't really done much wormholing, I highly suggest you go into the Venture. In addition to the fact that it's a pretty good entry mining barge, it does have a warp core stabilizer bonus of +2. So if somebody does get you with a single point or even a double point, you can still warp off and possibly save your pod. Gas mining is expensive, very expensive, if you're still intro to mining, as McChickens mentioned in chat. But if you want a little bit more risk, you have a little bit of extra ISK just stockpiling in your wallet, you could do it for fun. Alright. As you're mining, obviously as you skill up, you'll be able to upgrade your lasers. The way it works is you start with a Miner 1 and Miner 2 laser. Which are not linking for me, 1 sec. Yes, there we go. Those are the basic ones you'll get just from training the mining skill to 5. Once you start going a little bit harder into mining and you get onto the mining barges, you'll want to get into the strip miner. And then the modulated strip miner 2. The strip miner itself it's basically like a miner 1 laser, but we'll be able to mine a little bit faster, a little bit better. The modulated strip miner 2, you can actually put mining crystals in similar to laser weapons, and this will even further increase your yield on specific ores. For the crystals for the modulated strip miner 2, you actually have to skill up the specific ore type in order to use it to at least level 3. So in order to use a crystal for Veldspar, you have to do Veldspar reprocessing up to level 3. Sorry, just Veldspar processing to 3. And that's similar to all the other ores. One of the big exceptions is mercoxit. In order to mine that, you actually need a deep core laser. If you are mining mercoxit in nullsec, as you're mining it, every time you mine it, you have a chance, if you're not at max deep core mining, to spawn a explosive cloud, I guess. A cloud that does damage to you. Douglas said that you need refining 4 for crystals. So one of the requirements for the crystals is refining 4. But by the time you're into Barge, you also need, I believe, refining for that. Let me double check. I'm incorrect. So yes, you do need refining in order to get the T1 and T2 crystals for the mining lasers. So up to now, I've kind of been talking about you mining by yourself. The basic ways that people will do it, they'll either mine by themselves and haul it back to station. So every time your hole fills, you'll just have that 2-3 minute jaunt back to the station. It obviously gives you a bunch of downtime for that. Another way to do it, you can just jet can mine. What you'll do is when your hole gets a little bit full, you just drop a jet can into space. As you continue mining, you'll just put more and more ore into that jet can until it's full, and then drop another one. When you're done mining for the day, you'll go back to the station you want to drop everything in, pick up an industrial, just come back up and pick them up. Some people will buddy mine. I don't know many people that actually buddy mine, unless you are in a shared can fleet. Which I'll be talking about in just a minute. Yes, as Worf mentioned, if you jet can, your cans do have a 2-hour limit. So you have to be able to get back to them within 2 hours. Generally, personally, after an hour and a half, I feel like a change from mining, and if I was still doing that, I would station and switching. What I actually do is I have an alt that I've trained up, and I will jet can and haul it that way. Let me see what else is in chat. Altany mentioned a good point. When you do drop jet cans, it is a good idea to name them with the time so you can track them and know when they're going to pop. The AMC, we generally put just a quick name at the beginning, like fleet or full, and then the time after it. And that allows whoever's picking it up to know how fast they have to get there. As I mentioned a shared can earlier, so if you want to do a mining fleet, generally somebody will pop out with an Orca, which is the mining industrial capital ship. It gives you a good bonus to your mining laser range, cycle time, and just your yield. It does have an ore bay, which can be used as an industrial shipping back to the station. But most of the time, what the shared can is, it's a normal fleet, but you just have miners. You'll all go to the same asteroid belt, and all put on your laser at the same time. You will have a hauler, and everyone at the end of the op will get paid out by the fleet commander based on the amount of time that you spent in the op. The way that the AMC runs it, no matter what you are flying, as long as you are not obviously trying to troll, for instance, flying a Venture when you're trained into exhumers, you will get the same amount that everyone else will get, just as a help to the newer players. So obviously mining is a somewhat risky aspect, as is everything in EVE. Whenever you undock your ship, there's always a chance somebody will decide that it's worthwhile to jump it. So when you're in a belt, there's obviously belt rats. Most mining barges, actually all mining ships of the ore type, have a drone bay. One or two hobgoblin ones, easy enough to take out most belt rats. The exception will be if there's an incursion in the area. The belt rats do get swapped with the Sanja incursion ones, and those are, if you see them, you kind of don't want to be mining in those belts for a while. They are very bad news. High-sec mining, 0.8, 0.9, 10, pretty easy, pretty low risk as long as you're watching local, don't have too many war targets. It's always a good idea to keep your local up, have your D-scan on, just in case. However, once you get down to low-sec, mining ships become very profitable to gank. Generally, if you're mining, you're going to be in a belt, so not an easy way to dock up or warp off to another constellation. And mining ships are generally fitted for either yield or tank. If you fit for tank, you're not going to have the best yield, and you might as well be going into high-sec for mining. But if you fit for yield, then you are a very, very easy target. Even in high-sec, you are subject to suicide ganking. It can happen. As long as you have a decent tank on your ship, don't really have to worry about it. I think I actually have a chart of how many ships it requires to gank somebody. Give me 1 second. Well, I'll find it at the end, and then I'll link it. As Alteni mentioned, Procure and Skip are really good if you are really worried about being ganked. However, if you are in lull-sec and you are in one of those and you get pointed, and you do not have a warp core stabilizer, you're basically going to die if they get a fleet on you. In high-sec, pretty easy getaway as long as you are in a decently tanked mining vessel. Other than suicide gankers, you do sometimes run into issues with war targets. If you're in the E-UNI, we currently are in a war with a faction that likes to gank easy-to-kill ships, and they seem to be very good at doing it. I think earlier today I saw another Mackinac die to them. Yeah. Another... Was it a Mackinac? Sorry. No, it's just a retriever. If you look at that, he got ganked and died pretty easily because he doesn't have much tank on it, and he probably wasn't paying attention to local. He died to 2 maledictions, so sucks for him. Free 43 million kill board for them. The barges do not have a built-in warp core stabilizer like the Venture do. Theon Agana asked if they do. They do not. I personally would not fit a warp core stabilizer onto a mining barge, but if you're super worried about getting away, you could. So while mining, probably one of the big reasons you want to do it, making money. The AMC, Amara Mining Campus wing of EVE University, as you're mining, they actually have a buyback program. If you are in the AMC and you don't know about this, it's pretty awesome if you don't like hauling. What it is if you are within 4 or 5 jumps of the AMC home system, the AMC will buy back all the ore that you pick up, or minerals if you decide to reprocess it yourself, for slightly below GETA price. If you want to do it on your own, I'm going to link a few more sites you can go to. Fuzzworks ore page can give you what the ore can turn into and how much ISK you will get per. Similarly, the Celestis site will do something very similar to that. The sites are currently up to date, if I am correct on that. However, these are the current values and not the summer 2014 expansion values. I mentioned a little bit earlier that they will be overhauling a bunch of industrials. They'll be doing most of the mining barges as well as refining. A little bit of invention too, which will be interesting. If you want to refine currently, it's pretty easy to get to that point. I believe you need 5 refining, 4 in refining efficiency, and a rank 2 in whichever ore you want. In addition to the 6.67 standings for the station you're at, in order to get perfect refine. So that means that when you refine, you will get 100% of the ore that you wanted. There is a complex equation, which if you really want, I can give you it later, but they will be changing it. If you are part of the E-UNI and you yourself have already mined something and just want somebody to perfect refine it for you, there is a list of perfect refiners out there. I believe it's up to date as of March 16th, but if you really want to refine your stuff, look if one of the stations near you has the faction that anyone on the sheet has. Contact them, and hopefully they will still be doing it for you. So I also, during this lecture, have been mentioning the AMC a lot, Mar Mining Campus. I'll give a quick link to that. It's quite an interesting community. Lots of interesting conversation goes on during fleets. But anything you want to know about mining, people on the channel will easily be able to tell you about it. The requirements to actually join the campus are to be a freshman in E-UNI, which I think takes a week, and just a quick post in the hi-bye forums. The AMC campus, the location is classified, so unless you are in the campus itself or have previously been in the campus and are grandfathered in, you will not be given the location. Mr. Chicken mentions that sometimes it takes a week for them to say yes. It depends on what the officers are doing. Sometimes they'll go on vacation. Yes, spoilers, we are in the Amara Empire. Spies in chat. Alright, so say, for instance, you don't really want to be skilling into mining barges. You can do it in a battleship if you want to do low sec and be able to survive. It's still not going to be as efficient. If you've ever done incursions, another thing you can do in mining, which I recently added, is farm lyovite in missions. There's a specific mission, I believe it's a level 2 mission, called Unknown Events. What it'll do is, inside the event, we'll spawn a asteroid, which I believe has 6,000 or so cubic meters of ore in it. If you farm it, leaving at least 1 cubic meter left in it, it will respawn every day at downtime. For every 255 lyovite, you can actually make about 1 million ISK, putting up contracts on the market. There are some mining implants. You can get them if you want. They do help your yield quite a bit. However, they are pretty expensive. And I believe that's most of the topics I wanted to cover for this class. So with that, I guess I'll open up a Q&A. Any questions? Sam Z says, care to talk on jet can thieves and how to protect from that? Huh. Well, yes. Jet can thieves, what happens if you are jet can mining, what will happen is somebody can come in, go to your can, flip it, and take the ore that's inside of it. They will go get flagged suspect for about 15 minutes, during which you can engage them. Best way to handle it is just to ignore them. What you can do is, if you log their name, what ship they're in, what system they did it, you can report it to your diplomats, officers, but generally you should ignore them. Oftentimes what they do is they do that just to get you to engage on them. They'll warp off, come back in with a better ship, since you have an engage timer on yourself as well. I believe that can flipping is disallowed in the E-UNI, so if you are E-UNI, you should not be doing it. Caitlin Sema says, yes, Caitlin, it's going to be recorded. I'll put it up as soon as I can after this. Ante asks about them barge changes. Alright, so coming this summer, CCP has mentioned that they will be changing mining barges and exhumers, as well as refining, which is going to make a huge impact on the mining community. What they're doing is they are rebalancing a lot of the, I linked it in chat, and it's also in the wiki page for this class, which is Mining 101. But what they're doing is they're rebalancing a lot of the mining barges. Currently, for solo mining, the Mackinac is kind of king, with the Hulk being the best for yield and Skiff best for tank. What they'll be doing is they'll be adding an extra low slot to the Skiff and Procure, I believe. Which will allow their mining yield to come up to the same as the Mackinac, and giving them a little bit more damage on their drones. The Retriever and Mackinac they'll keep very similar to where they are. They're just kind of trying to make it so that not every solo miner uses the Mackinac. The Coveter and Hulk, they will be actually gaining a 5% per level bonus to the laser optimal ranges, as well as a slight increase to yield. It's pretty nice, but it will be probably the least tanky of the options. If you're flying them, you should probably be in a fleet or have a good backup there. Another slight impact they're going to be changing for the mining barges in the summer, they are going to be reducing the scan resolution on the Retriever, Mackinac, Procure, and Skiff. It's to make them so that they're not as powerful in combat. Make them so you can't solo frigates if they come in on you with your drones. Kind of a slightly weird change, but I guess they just want to protect against that for the future, like a, I don't know, battle skiff. Alright. Laura Divinity asks, why can I only install one of these? Medium Ice Harvester Accelerator 1. I'm assuming you're talking about fitting it onto a Venture? Let's see. Yeah, that's what I was about to check. The calibration for the medium ice harvester accelerator is 250, which basically locks up the retriever for that. Maza Kasana says, I am currently leveling up an alt miner. People recommend I keep it out of the E-UNI for war reasons, etc. Can I still join the alt up to the AMC if only my main is in the uni? I actually do not know the answer to that question. I'm going to write it down. Oh, Auntie says, yes, you can. I'm assuming that they have to be accepted into the AMC itself on their main account. So yes, Auntie says your main account needs to be the AMC. Once you do that, you can get your alt in by talking to the officers of the AMC. Any other questions? Caitlin Sima asks, I'm sure it was answered earlier since I'm late, but does the AMC have a use for hauler alts? Sometimes. Whenever we do a shared can, we will generally have a freighter or somebody with a hauler there just to bring all the jet cans back to station to keep the op running. More for the haulers. Haulers is more used by the Uni's logistics branch to get things between stations. Something you mentioned in Orca as well. The AMC, even if you can't fly in Orca or have never flown in a fleet before for mining, the AMC has a lot of Orca pilots. A lot of pilots who actually have alt Orcas. Generally, if you are in the home system, if you ask, somebody will probably pop out their Orca and give you some boosts for a little bit. I believe the boosts on a mining barge will get you down to a laser range of 25 kilometers and a cycle time of 121.8 seconds. All right. Since no one asked it, what are the refining changes happening this summer? I'll go over this really quickly since the numbers aren't 100% yet. Currently, in order to refine to perfect refining, I'm going to be linking the equation in lecture.E-UNI. It's a lot of math. The yield is the station equipment. When you go to a station and you try to refine anything, each station has a set equipment level. A lot of them in high-sec are 0.5. I think a majority of them are. But they can go down to 0.3, possibly less. What it is, currently it is that number. So if you start with like 0.5, then you add on your skills, your refining skills, your efficiency skills, and your ore processing skills. What CCP is changing is that they are not making it an addition anymore, they're making it a multiplication. So it's the station equipment percentage, so 50%, and then you're multiplying that by a certain amount of your refining skill, efficiency, and ore processing skill. They are also reducing the amount that your refining efficiency, and ore specialization skills increase your refining by. Lots of changes. But basically, they're making it so that if you are in high sec, you need to have maxed out your refining efficiency, and ore processing skills. In addition to that, you will need to get a 4% refining implant in order to get back to 100% refining efficiency. Back to what is currently perfect refining efficiency. Another change that they're making is that instead of refining stacks of 333, 400, 500, 250, you will be refining stacks of 100 for each ore, just to make it a little bit cleaner, I believe. In addition to that, they are actually increasing the amount of minerals you'll be getting from reprocessing. I believe the number was about 27.6%. So that mining itself doesn't get super hurt. If you want a chart of the before and after, because who doesn't like math, right? That is what the refining is changing from. What you are getting per batch size. And the second one is your refining efficiency, or how much you will be refining before and after the changes. Currently, if you get above 100%, it caps out at 100, so you don't get any increase. As you can see in the after, you can always increase it beyond that. There are ways that they're going to be changing refining, dealing with null sec and low sec space, but I'm not going to get into that for this class. Question from Auntie. Just how awesome is the AMC? I mean, really, I want to know. Come on, man. AMC is pretty awesome. It's a great way to learn how to mine in a relatively low-stress environment. If you have questions on any other aspects of the game, members of the AMC gladly help you out on that. We have members who are mission running in the system, jumping into wormholes, jumping into exploration sites all the time. Personally, I do a lot of missioning and exploration in addition to mining in the area. McChickens asks, can you solo venture a wormhole? Yes, you can. Just pay attention to your D-scan, and if you see sleepy rats warp in, be ready to get out of there. If you warp into a wormhole to a gas site, I think you have about 20 minutes before the rats show up. How prevalent are war targets out at the AMC? Not that prevalent. We're in a relatively low traffic system. Some warthogs do know where we are, but some don't. One big thing at the AMC is OPSEC. If you join, / when you join, since you definitely should, there's a whole nother way of talking that we talk about the systems around us that you will learn. We generally have a member or two out scouting, so you will get a few jump notice if war targets are coming near us. We are extremely diligent about the proper use of scouts and picket ships. AMC is just a myth, doesn't exist. It's really just a spy agency. A picket ship is a ship either in the E-UNI or an alt, somewhere along the line near our systems. That is just scanning for war targets constantly. If they come anywhere near us, everyone in the AMC is notified to dock up, log out. Generally, if war targets come near us, we don't engage them. We try not to create more content for them by giving them free fights or free ship kills. I don't think anyone in the AMC has lost any industrials or mining industrials in the UMed war this time. Yeah, I probably just jinxed it. Any other questions? Mining, AMC, other uni things? Alright, Moza Kasan asks, should I be reprocessing all my parts in my hangar that I won't be using because of the summer patch nerfing about the amount of return from processing? Or should I wait until I have better scrap metal processing skills? Or should I just be selling them? By parts, I'm assuming you mean modules. Well, another thing that they are changing, they are nerfing scrap metal processing. So guns, modules, ammos, all that stuff that can be converted into ore, the reprocessing rate for those will be severely reduced. I'm not going to give you what you should do. If you need the money, you can get a quick buck. Probably the best thought is to put up sell orders. However, if you do have scrap metal in your inventory and you have scrap metal processing to at least 2, probably refining that. I think I missed one. Mr. Chickens asks, do you guys sell barges to members at the main op sites? This actually brings up a good point that I didn't mention earlier. The E-UNI does have a mining ship loaning program. Once I find it, I'll post it in chat. If you follow the rules on there, you'll be able to get a basic mining barge or industrial. I believe we have coveters, retrievers, and ventures. If you don't have one and you need one, you can loan it out for 2 weeks. If you do lose it, you will have to, or you are on the ball for replacing it. But as long as you fly safe, you should be fine. You can also purchase your own ship, both from the AMC, and some members do their own building. There is the E-UNI purchase your own ship program, as well as the AMC campus itself has some ships, but you'll have to talk to Cartilage Denard, who I believe is the main AMC officer at the moment, correct? One of them, yeah. Vayon Ogana asks, I would like to use my ore for manufacturing. Does the AMC provide a hauling service? We do not provide a personal hauling service. You can probably contract one out with individual members. Or another good option if you need to haul across space is using Red Frog or reputable hauling service. Caitlin Sema asks, is it really profitable to pay others to haul for you? I don't have much experience in that. Alduin, Alteni, Anti, Aki, do any of you guys have experience in that?
It can be. I mean, if you have a lot of materials and a lot of stuff you need shipped to, say, a market or something, and you needed to get it there, and you don't have an all or alt, or you don't have a ship that's big enough, yeah, absolutely. Pay somebody with a freighter to take your stuff to market, or bring your stuff or to a station or something like that. Usually do it fairly reasonable price. We have freighters, people with freighters that do stuff all the time. So there's always free room, I guess you could say. And if you need stuff moved, absolutely use it. Don't put yourself at risk, especially a uni character hauling stuff. It just doesn't make sense.
I'll add that I'm always amazed at how little the public contracts that are available offer haulers to move their stuff, and these contracts get taken. So the percentage that haulers on the public market are willing to take is pretty tiny. You can get your stuff moved pretty cheap.
All I can add is that trying to fly a freighter or especially something silly like a Tech 1 industrial hauler at war is really, really asking for trouble.
Yeah, don't be a retard, please.
I think we've paid for UMAD several times with industrials dying this war. If you haven't noticed, the big thing in the AMC is don't lose your ship and learning how to not lose your ship. All right. Any other questions? You guys can speak up and mumble too if you want.
A good one for the newbies. What would be the best ore for them to focus on?
Sort of depends on the system you're in. Scordite is pretty good. But really it depends on the system you're in and what's available.
I'll usually check the Celestes or the Fuzzwork site that Max linked earlier and just see in the belt that I'm in what ore ranks the highest out of the ones that are listed.
Another way you can do it if you are good with Excel math, and you are in the AMC, you can use the buyback sheet and figure out the best ore to mine based on that. All right. Since I see no more questions, go ahead, Mr. Chickens. How does one ally to the AMC? The AMC is part of E-University. How does one apply? How does one apply to the AMC? I link you to the AMC site. A page or two down, there is a whole section on joining the AMC. You have to have at least the freshman E-University title. Then there is an application form and a short, depends on your history, interview with an AMC officer. When you come into the AMC, you don't necessarily have to bring a miner, but we do require you to have a combat-capable ship in case a war target attacks and we need to get somebody out of the system quickly.
And you ally to us by flattering us incessantly.
Yes, bribes go a long way.
Mr. Chicken says, I'm almost at my incursion fit and I'm looking to do something on the side. Would this be welcome? Due to the natures of incursions, we can never guarantee that there's anything close to us. But if you are at a good incursion fit level, level 4 mission running is pretty profitable. You don't necessarily have to be at the AMC campus all the time. In fact, you don't necessarily have to be here most of the time. We have several members who are currently at, I believe, Wormhole and a Nullsec. And they pop in and out every once in a while. for an example of things that have been said in AMC Just Mumble, we've had, tax prep one day, string theory another day, nuclear physics another day, good places to eat in certain towns another day, how that game with the balls in the sport went.
Spontaneous singing of Mana.
What the heck are you talking about?
I have heard all those in AMC within the last month. It's a fun group. If you're interested in mining at all, definitely worth joining.
And there are some serious computer nerds in the AMC. If you have any computer questions, they'll most likely answer any problems you may have. I know nothing about computers, so these guys have helped me out quite a bit.
All right, since it is 03:06 Eve time, I'm going to wrap up this class. Thanks for coming. Again, this was Mining 101, Eve University. If you have any other questions, feel free to message Max Darkfire. If you have any comments, this was my first class teaching for Eve University. So just send me maybe an email. Just let me know anything I can improve on. Thank you much. And yeah, Caitlin, I'll put up the recording as soon as I can.